I'm here today to introduce you to our new low profile brooder from Space-Ray. It's our newest model in our lineup. It will look somewhat similar and have some components that are similar and some that are the same as our SRB and True 40 series. But it is only 13 inches tall versus 18, which is the height of those brooders. So first of all, the packaging has changed. You're going to order these brooders in a 4-pack only configuration. And inside of a large box, you'll have 4 emitters. And you also have 4 small boxes like this that'll have all of your hardware, your burner, your control arm, and your control board, and everything that you need to build a brooder. The canopies will come in a separate, on a separate pallet. So the first thing you want to do is put the canopy on the emitter, build the canopy onto the emitter. You'll notice the canopy now, I'll try to get it around here where you can see it. The canopy now has 2 slots in the side of it, and this is where your control arm is going to go. And you'll notice there's a slot in the middle. So our control arm, or not our control arm up here, but our control module is going to go into this slot and go down here and get introduced and bolted up to the control arm. So we're going to put this on and go ahead and tighten down 2 of our studs onto the canopy, and then this third one where the control arm is going to be, we're not going to put a nut on it just yet. We'll wait and do it in a moment. Get the hardware out, dump it out. It's everything is the same size. It's all 7/16 size nuts. So all you need is 1 size wrench to build it with. I do caution people against using impact wrenches. These brooders are made out of aluminum and stainless steel. And both of those metals can be a little bit too soft for an impact wrench, and I would rather you didn't use an impact wrench. You can use an electric drill, but not an impact wrench, please. So we have our 2 studs on first, and you can see the bottom one. I do not have a nut on it yet because this is where my control arm is going to be. So now we'll put the control box in its position. You'll notice this box is now stamped aluminum instead of plastic. Does a couple things for us. It allowed us to make it shallower so that we can get it closer to the brooder. It runs cooler being aluminum than it would if it were plastic, so that's why we went with aluminum. And it's more watertight than the plastic is actually. So we still have a nice good watertight seal with our control box to keep our module protected, and a cooler running board since we're close to the canopy. So now that I've got this in position, I'll go ahead and tighten that nut down. Another cool thing about this hanger while we're looking at it before I move it out of the way, you've got these slots in the hanger bracket here that allow you to move your S-hook back and forth to level your brooder. And you know, with our brooders, we do like to run them level, and some of our competitors run at an angle, but we do want our brooders ran level, and I'll explain how we're able to do that in a minute. But this is a pretty cool feature, I thought, that our engineers designed into this so that it's easy to change the pitch of the angle of the brooder. So we're through with the top side. Now let's look at the bottom. So the first thing you're going to notice that's different about this burner is it's a banjo style burner. Being a banjo style burner just means it's shaped like a banjo. It's got a neck to it. This is our Venturi. We still have a quick connect clasp here that holds our control arm into the burner, and right here's your igniter. If you notice, the igniter favors the cooler side of this burner, so that only the ignition components are right under where the heat and the fire is. The ceramic and the wire itself is protected from the fire. So all of this comes pre-assembled, just like you're looking at it. So what I want to do with it, I want to just go ahead and mount it on those studs, just like you're accustomed to, still 2-piece burner. And what you've got now is you've got your Venturi lined up with your slots, lined up with your box, so that everything's going to be lined up nice and straight. Go ahead and tighten the nuts down on the burner base. can go ahead and tighten these completely down. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to install our control arm. And so with this control arm, I'm actually going to move on this side so I have a little more room to show you what I'm doing here. This control arm is going to need to be lined completely up and completely straight with this venturi. There's an opportunity for you to do this crooked. We've got some slot built in to this, the way this goes together intentionally, so that you can have an opportunity to slide it back and forth and get it straight if you need to. But if you notice right here, once I put that in, you can zoom in on that. Once I put that in, I've got this little clasp here that just simply folds up, and listen, just locks into place. And now everything's locked into place. And if you'll notice what I was telling you, I can move this back and forth, but I don't want it to be crooked. I want it to be straight. So I need to make sure before I completely tighten down this U-bolt that I've got everything nice and straight. I'm going to turn this around so you can see it a little better maybe. So now I just drop my washers onto the U-bolt. Much easier assembly process than what we had before when we had two separate bolts and separate nuts. Then you had to squeeze your fingers in there and try to make it work. So now I'm lining this up, and I want to make sure it's lined up nice and straight. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my other plate on here. And this is where I need to remind you that these plates are the reason that we can run our brooders level and not have to run them at a pitch or at an angle, because these plates actually protect our components. They protect the valve and they protect the module box from the heat that's coming off the canopy and off the burner itself. So once I have everything nice and straight and lined up, I can go ahead and tighten my nuts down. And you'll see I've wound up with her nice and straight going into the venturi there. The only thing I have left to do is just pull my igniter wire out, plug it into the igniter, get my gas hooked up, and I'm ready to go. And so you have built the LoPro 42 brooder. Remember, with low pressure, you get 42,000 BTUs. With high pressure, we're still at 40,000 BTUs. So LP or natural gas is available. And so you've got 5% more power than anybody else has, more BTUs than anybody else has on the market today, in a smaller, more compact package at only 13 inches tall. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoy your LoPro brooders for many years to come.